When my brother got into med school, my parents rented out the banquet room at the country club. There were centerpieces. A slideshow. My dad gave a speech about the first doctor in the family. My mom cried into a linen napkin and told anyone within reach that she always knew he was destined for greatness. I remember standing near the dessert table, balancing a plate of cake, listening to distant relatives congratulate him like he'd already cured something terminal. I was proud of him. I was also invisible. Years later, when my own acceptance email came through, I stared at it for a long time before calling anyone. I called my best friend first. Then my mentor. My parents found out that evening. There was a pause on the phone when I told them. "Well," my dad said finally, "we didn't think you'd actually make it." He laughed lightly, like he'd just offered a harmless joke. I waited for the correction. "But we're proud of you. The we always believed." It didn't come. My mom filled the silence. "That's good news. Of course, you must be relieved." Relieved. That night I lay awake, thinking about the country club. The catered shrimp. The banner with my brother's name in gold script. I could have asked for something similar. I could have reminded them how it felt. Instead, I decided I didn't want to negotiate for enthusiasm. So I didn't. I booked a small private room at a neighborhood restaurant. 12 people, close friends. 2 professors who had written letters for me. My old lab partner, my roommate. No slideshow, no speeches about destiny, just people who had seen the late nights and the doubt and the retaken exams. The evening felt warm, in a way the banquet hall never had. Conversations overlapped. Someone made a toast that was more teasing than reverent. I laughed without scanning the room for approval. At one point, a local newspaper photographer came in to snap pictures of a different event in the main dining area. The restaurant owner, who knew me casually, mentioned I'd just been accepted to med school. The photographer asked if I'd mind a quick photo for a community feature on local students. I hesitated for half a second. Then I said yes, not to make a point, not to exclude anyone. Just because, for once, the moment felt like mine. A week later the article ran, a small column on page 3. My photo at the table, mid-laugh, a short quote about wanting to work in underserved communities. I didn't think about who would see it. My sister did. The family group chat lit up at 14 a.m. Sister, wow. Guess I missed the invite. Then a screenshot of the article. Mom, what is this? Dad, you had a party. I read the messages twice before responding. It wasn't a party. Just dinner with friends. Sister friends. Dad, why didn't you tell us? I could feel the old reflex rising, the urge to soften, to explain, to reassure. Instead, I typed slowly. When Daniel got in, you threw a party. No one replied immediately. I added when I told you Dad said you didn't think I'd make it. 3 dots appeared under my mother's name. Disappeared, reappeared. Dad, that was a joke. I stared at the word. It didn't feel like one I wrote. A minute passed. Sister, so you punish us by not inviting us. There it was, the assumption that access was automatic. I didn't punish anyone, I said. I celebrated with the people who showed up for me during the hard parts. It was the first time I'd ever framed it that way. The group chat went quiet. Later that evening, my mom called. I can't believe you'd let us find out from a newspaper, she said, her voice tight. I didn't let you find out, I replied.
It just ran. You embarrassed us.
That surprised me. How? I asked. It looks like we weren't there. I didn't answer immediately. You weren't, I said finally. There was a long silence on the other end. Not angry, just unsettled. We didn't know you wanted something, she said. I didn't want to have to want it, I replied. The words hung there between us. For years, I'd accepted the smaller portion. The quieter praise. The careful surprise when I succeeded. I had told myself it didn't matter, that being underestimated was easier than being scrutinized. But it does something to you, being someone your own family expects less from. I'm proud of you, my mom said eventually. It sounded practiced, but also real in its own late way. Thank you, I said. We didn't resolve anything that night. There was no apology tour, no sudden reckoning about favoritism. But something subtle shifted. At the next family gathering, no one made jokes about being surprised I'd made it. My sister asked me about orientation dates, without sarcasm. My dad avoided the topic altogether, which in its own way was an improvement. They had assumed celebration was theirs to grant. I realized it was mine to choose. I don't know if they'll ever see the pattern the way I do. What I know is this: I stopped waiting for the big room, the banner, the gold script. The small table was enough. And for once, I didn't feel peripheral in my own life.